A King's Revenge. A very long time ago, in the age of heroes, there were two famous kingdoms in Greece. One was the city of Athens, a place of thinkers and artists. The other was the island of Crete, a rich and powerful kingdom ruled by the strong King Minos. King Minos had a son named Androgeos. He was a strong and athletic young man. One day, Androgeos traveled to Athens to take part in some big sporting games. He was a great athlete, and he won every competition. But some people in Athens were very jealous of his success. They were angry that a man from Crete was better than all the Athenian athletes. Because of this jealousy, some men secretly killed the prince. When King Minos heard the news about his son, his heart was broken. His sadness quickly turned into a great and terrible anger. He wanted revenge on the city of Athens. He took his powerful army and his strong navy and went to Athens. Athens could not fight against the great power of Crete, the king of Athens. Aegeus had to surrender. King Minos wanted a cruel punishment. He did not want to destroy the city. He wanted the people of Athens to feel his sadness and his anger for a long, long time. He told King Aegeus his price. Every 7 years, Minos said, his voice cold and hard, you will send me 7 of your strongest young men and 7 of your most beautiful young women. They will be my price for my dead son. King Aegeus had to agree, and so, a terrible tradition began. Every 7 years, 14 young people from Athens had to say goodbye to their families. They sailed on a ship with a black sail, a sign of death, to the island of Crete, the monster in the maze. On Crete, King Minos had a dark secret. His wife had a son who was not a normal human. He was a monster. He had the body of a man, but the head and tail of a bull. His name was the Minotaur. He was strong and fierce, and he ate humans. King Minos was ashamed of the Minotaur. He asked his most famous inventor, Daedalus, to build a special prison for the monster. Daedalus built something amazing and terrible, a labyrinth. The labyrinth was a huge maze under the king's palace. It had hundreds of passages that turned and twisted. There were many dead ends. It was dark and confusing. Once you were inside, it was impossible to find your way out. This was the final destination for the young people from Athens. They were not killed by soldiers. They were pushed into the dark entrance of the labyrinth. There, they walked alone in the darkness, lost and scared. They would wander for days, getting more and more tired and hungry. Sooner or later, they would hear a loud, angry roar. They would hear heavy footsteps. And then, the Minotaur would find them. The monster would kill them and eat them. This happened twice. 14 young people went to Crete, and then another 14. None of them ever came back. The families in Athens cried for their lost children. The city was full of sadness and humiliation. A hero's promise. In Athens lived a brave and strong young man named Theseus. He was the son of King Aegeus. Theseus had watched the sad families. He saw the ship with the black sail leave Athens twice. His heart was full of anger. He could not accept this terrible punishment for his city. When the time came for the third group of young people to go to Crete, Theseus made a decision. He went to his father, the king. Father, Theseus said, this must stop. I will go to Crete, as one of the 7 young men. I am not going there to die. I will go into the labyrinth, and I will kill the Minotaur. I will end this terror. King Aegeus was old, and he loved his son very much. No, my son, he cried, you cannot go. The Minotaur is a terrible monster. No one can kill it. And even if you do, you can never escape the labyrinth. You will die there, and my heart will break. I am not afraid, Theseus said. I am strong, and I am clever. I will find a way. I will save the young people of Athens. His father cried, but he could not change his son's mind. Finally, he agreed. He walked with Theseus to the port. The ship with the black sail was waiting. My son, King Aegeus said, with tears in his eyes, take this second sail. It is white. If you kill the Minotaur, and you are coming home safe, please take down the black sail and put up this white sail. Every day, I will stand on the high cliffs and watch the sea. If I see a white sail, I will know you are alive, and my heart will be full of joy. If I see the black sail, I will know you are dead." Theseus promised his father he would remember. He got on the ship with 13 other sad young Athenians and sailed towards Crete, the daughter of the king. When the ship arrived in Crete, King Minos and his family came to look at the prisoners from Athens. Among them was the king's beautiful daughter, Ariadne. She saw the 14 young people. They were all scared, but one of them was different. He stood tall and proud. He was not afraid. This was Theseus. Ariadne looked at him, and she thought he was the most handsome and brave man she had ever seen. She fell in love with him in that moment. She could not watch him go into the labyrinth to die. She had to do something. That night, she secretly went to the prison where the Athenians were kept. She spoke to Theseus. "I am Ariadne, the daughter of King Minos," she said. "I saw you today. You are very brave. I do not want you to die." Theseus was surprised. "How can you help me?" he asked. "No one can escape the labyrinth." "I can," she whispered. "I will help you kill the monster and find your way out. But you must promise me something. If you live, you must take me with you. Take me away from Crete and make me your wife." Theseus looked at the beautiful princess. Her plan was his only hope. "I promise," he said. Ariadne gave him 2 things. The first was a sharp sword, hidden under her dress. The second was a simple ball of thread. "This is my plan," she said. "When you go into the labyrinth, tie the end of this thread to the entrance door. As you walk deeper into the maze, unwind the ball of thread. Let it fall on the floor behind you. After you kill the Minotaur, the thread will be your guide. You can follow it all the way back to the door." It was a simple, but very clever, idea. Theseus thanked her and took the gifts. The battle in the dark, the next day. The great stone door of the labyrinth was opened. Theseus and the other young Athenians were pushed inside. The door closed behind them with a loud, heavy sound. They were in complete darkness. The air was cold and smelled of death. The other young people started to cry. Theseus was not afraid. He told the others to stay together near the door. He took out the ball of thread and tied the end to the inside of the door, just as Ariadne told him. Then, with the sword in one hand and the thread in the other, he started to walk alone into the dark passages. The maze was silent at first. Then, he began to hear a noise. It was a low, angry sound. Grr. The sound got louder and louder. Then he heard a terrible roar. It was the Minotaur. Theseus held his sword tightly. He turned a corner and saw it. The monster was huge, much bigger than a man. Its eyes were red and full of hate. It saw Theseus, and it charged at him. The fight was long and difficult. The Minotaur was incredibly strong. It tried to hit Theseus with its horns. Theseus was fast and clever. He jumped out of the way and used his sword to cut the monster. They fought in the dark, narrow passages of the labyrinth. Finally, the Minotaur was getting tired. Theseus saw his chance. With all his strength, he pushed his sword deep into the monster's heart. The Minotaur gave one last, loud cry, and then it fell to the ground, dead. It was over. The terrible monster was dead. Theseus was a hero. But now he had to get out. He looked around. It was dark and confusing. Which way was the door? He was completely lost. Then he looked down at his hand. He was still holding the thread, Ariadne's thread. He smiled. He turned around and started to follow the thin line of the thread on the floor. It led him through the dark passages, back to the entrance. He found the other Athenians waiting, scared. When they saw him, they cheered. He had done it. He opened the door, and they all ran out of the labyrinth, into the sunlight. A broken heart, on an island. Ariadne was waiting for them. She was so happy to see Theseus alive. They ran to his ship. They pulled up the anchor and sailed away from Crete as fast as they could. Theseus, Ariadne, and the 13 other Athenians were free. They were sailing home to Athens. Theseus and Ariadne were in love. On their journey, they stopped at a beautiful, green island called Naxos to rest and celebrate. They danced and sang and were very happy. That night, Theseus had a powerful dream. In his dream, a god appeared. It was Dionysus, the god of wine and celebration. "Theseus," the god said in his dream, "you are a great hero, but Ariadne cannot be your wife. She must stay here, on this island. She is destined to marry me. You must leave this island now, and you must leave without her." Theseus woke up. His heart was full of sadness. He loved Ariadne. He did not want to leave her, but he knew he could not say no to a god. It was a terrible choice. With a broken heart, he gathered his Athenian friends. While Ariadne was still sleeping peacefully on the beach, they went back to the ship. They quietly sailed away, leaving her behind. When Ariadne woke up, she was alone. She saw the ship, a small black spot far away on the sea. Her heart broke, and she cried. But Dionysus came to her and comforted her. She stayed on Naxos and married the god, and she never saw Theseus again. Theseus was so sad about leaving Ariadne, he forgot everything else. He forgot his promise to his father. He forgot about the white sail. The ship continued to Athens with the black sail of death flying in the wind. His father, King Aegeus, waited every single day on a high cliff, looking out at the sea. Finally, he saw a ship. It was his son's ship. But when he looked closer, his old eyes saw the sail. It was black. He believed his son was dead. The sadness was too much for him. With a great cry of pain, he jumped from the high cliff into the sea below and died. When Theseus arrived in Athens, the people celebrated him as a hero. He had killed the Minotaur and saved their children. But Theseus could not be happy. He learned that his father was dead because of his mistake. He was now the king of Athens, but he had lost his father and the woman he loved. He was a great hero, but he carried a great sadness in his heart for the rest of his life. And from that day on, the sea where his father died was called the Aegean Sea, a name it still has today.